Max Verstappen has just revealed how he feels about racing against Fernando Alonso. The competitive world of F1 racing is filled with drama and controversy as the 20-driver grid competes against each other and race each weekend. The small pool of athletes mixing contributes to the personalities of the sport, and driver relationships and rivalries are put on display on the track and in the media. One of the connections that seems to have evolved into a friendship has been between the current champion and Alpine driver Fernando Alonso. How have Max and Fernando been able to maintain a relationship when they're competing on the weekends? And how does the future look for these two fast racing friends? Welcome to Max Verstappen Rewind. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press that bell icon to never miss an update on Red Bull Racing, Formula 1, or basically everything related to the multi-talented racer and world champion Max Verstappen. As one of the more senior veterans on the grid, Alonso has seen a lot of racing in his F1 career. The two-time World Drivers' Championship winner has driven against many racing greats, including Schumacher, Vettel, Raikkonen, and Hamilton. With his first-hand knowledge of what it takes to be an F1 champion, who did Fernando want to win the 2021 title? Of course, Alonso picked a winner and hoped Max would succeed in his championship season. While clarifying that he's not rooting for Alpine's competition, he has said that, quote, "It's not that I support Max, it's just that he deserves it in my opinion." With Max showing off his talent on the track, Alonso remarked how Verstappen has been driving one step ahead of the rest of the grid. We've definitely seen that happen with some of his overtakes and races where he took the lead and ran away with it, such as the Styrian Grand Prix, where the final gap to Lewis was nearly 35 seconds. Of course, in the sport of Formula 1, the construction of the car can be the difference between fighting for a podium or fighting being a backmarker. The RB16 sporting the Honda power unit was a force to be reckoned with, as Verstappen and Perez led Red Bull to a competitive second-place finish in the Constructors' Championship. Even with one of the best cars on the track, Alonso has said that Max is, quote, driving that Red Bull to another level. A proper race car is only as good as the driver that's willing to push it to the limits and show what it can do on the track, and it seems Fernando thinks that Max is doing exactly that. Finishing with 395.5 points, compared to Sergio's 190 points, Supermax has been able to unlock the RB16 and adapt his driving style to get the most out of the car. After the dust on the Yas Marina safety car situation, Alonso has expressed his conflicted feelings over the outcome. On one hand, he's happy that Max won, and said it's a matter of time that he'd win the trophy. On the other hand, he remarked that it was a pure luck thing. Both of them were outstanding. While still racing against these two leaders, Alonso seems to have immense respect for Max and admiration for his season performance. Alonso has been in racing for a long time, still competing at age 40 after beginning his F1 career at 22. He's seen his fair share of competitors and teams change as the years go by and has mentioned Verstappen's rise in F1. But Max has also been watching Alonso's career for a while, starting in karting around the same time that Fernando started racing competitively in F1. Max has grown up watching Alonso race. Can you imagine a little Max sitting in front of the screen, cheering as Fernando crosses the line? Max would have seen Fernando's back-to-back championship wins with Renault. He also would have seen his racing at McLaren and Ferrari, eventual struggles with the Honda engines at McLaren, and departure and return to the sport. Verstappen has said how he likes Fernando's style and his fighting spirit. Alonso wants to win and shows it through his racing. He has a never-give-up attitude and is a real fighter, according to Max. This seems similar to Max's often aggressive style as he fights for positions on the track. Now, instead of watching him race on the TV after a karting session, Max just has to look in his wing mirrors. With Verstappen racing against Alonso and not just watching him on TV, what does Max think about the Spanish driver now? Since he entered the world of competitive Formula 1 racing with Toro Rosso, Max has raced against Fernando for 5 seasons. However, during this time, they rarely battled each other on the track. While Max enjoyed the jump-in car performance from Toro Rosso to Red Bull, Alonso was driving a McLaren that suffered reliability issues and eventually made the move to Alpine, the former Renault racing team. The difference in car ability meant that while Verstappen was competing in the front for the podiums, Alonso has been stuck in the midfield competing for a points finish. Max has acknowledged that their relationship would be different if Fernando is equipped with a car to match his racing ability. As of now, the drivers have said that the other's racing style does not affect their approach to the race weekend, since they have different outcomes expected. When competing for points, this could change their strategy, as those once friends would have to outsmart and outrace the other. Maybe next time Alonso won't hold up Hamilton like he did at Hungary. While Alonso has typically been seen fighting in the midfield in the Alpine A521, he did achieve success over the previous season. He finished the year bringing 81 points to the team and finished 10th in the World Drivers' Championship, one place above his teammate Esteban Ocon. He also got his first podium since 2014, finishing 3rd place after completing the 306 kilometers of the first ever Qatar Grand Prix. Hoping he continues that success, Max has supported Alonso's career, saying, "I would like to see him back at the front. He really deserves it. He's a 2-time world champion. But it's also really nice to talk to him and see how he thinks about situations." But how would Alonso make his way up the grid to be a consistent podium competitor? With the new regulations that drew Fernando back to F1, we just might see that happen. As we mentioned in a previous video, the new regulations make sweeping changes to how teams will be designing their cars for 2022. In an aim to make the sport more competitive, if Alpine can make significant developments to a car that will be able to follow and overtake easier, they can easily be among the top midfield competitors. Fernando already completed the second most overtakes this previous year with 128, finishing 4 passes shy of Vettel. Now, imagine if he didn't have to fight through all that dirty air to get by. Do you think we'll see Max and Fernando spraying champagne on the podium together this season? Let me know what you think in the comments. Max appreciates Fernando's attitude towards racing, and how he has returned competitive even at his age. It wouldn't be completely unheard of having Alonso compete for poles and podiums at 40 years old. The oldest driver to win a Drivers' Championship was Juan Manuel Fangio in 1957. He was 46 years old and set the record for the most championship wins at 5, which coincidentally held for 46 years until Schumacher broke it with Ferrari in 2003. Currently, the 2-time champion is contracted with Alpine through the 2022 season. Beyond that, Alonso's future remains uncertain. Maybe we'll see him renew his contract at Alpine or commit to another team. Whether improving on Alpine's car or moving to a higher performance team, these changes could drastically affect Fernando's placement on the grid. We'll have to see how he drives with the new F1 cars this season, but hopefully he and Max can retain the friendship they've formed. Max and Fernando have been able to form a relationship on and off the grid that seems unaffected by their racing. While competing in the small 20-driver lineup, the difference in car abilities has meant that the two are rarely competing for the same position. From growing up and admiring the Spanish driver to lining up with him before lights out, Max has followed Alonso's driving career with greatest interest and developed a friendship no longer as just a fan, but as an equal. Will we see this relationship get tested by the demands of the race next year? We'll have to see what Alpine can come up with in terms of their new car to bring Fernando up by Max's side. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe below, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to know about Super Max.